Hi guys, me again, Molikun, and this week I'm going to be talking about a game I've been really getting excited about recently. I'm really excited. I've become a little bit addicted to it, and I don't need any more board games. But anyway, so this I gamed. I discovered this through a friend, Joe, who's one of my friends from dance class, and we've been meeting up like not every Sunday, but like every other Sunday or every third Sunday, depending on when we're free, to play it. And it's what's called a living card game. So, like the Star Realms video I did a couple of weeks ago with my sister, it's you build the deck while you play, and the cards all come with the game. You don't need to go and buy booster packs or go and buy pre-built decks. Everything comes with the core game, and you build the decks while playing. And it's also a sort of role-playing Dungeons and Dragons type thing, in that there is a campaign which spans several acts. I mean, the core set which I got has just one beginner campaign, which spans 3 acts. But the one I'm currently playing with Joe is an expansion one and is 7 acts long. So it does really go on, and like I just said, there's expansions to it, and each expansion comes with extra campaigns, extra cards to build decks with, extra characters you can play as, and the game really becomes quite immersive. And it's called Arkham Horror, so as you can imagine, it's set in the Lovecraftian sort of world, where Cthulhu is trying to break out and destroy everything. And your plan is to stop that. At least that's the plan in the core campaign. In the campaign I'm doing, all I've had to do so far is go and get the Necronomicon before some cult gets it. So I'm assuming it's going to be a similar thing in that you have to stop Cthulhu. But we've only done the first couple of acts. So, yeah, that's sort of it. It's a sort of role-playing storytelling game. And each act has a set number of turns to it, because you advance through what's called agendas. So I've been playing through the core set with my sister, and we've done the first 2 acts, and in the first acts, we were trapped in my study. The doors just completely vanished, and my study became the only place we could investigate. And we had 4 rounds, a round being each player takes their 3 actions to find a way out of the study before, the demons that are plaguing my house break in and kill us. It's a bit of a dark game. We did that. We got out of my study because we found the door out had somehow magicked itself under the carpet. So we got through, we jumped down into the hallway. They then had to investigate the hallway, the attic, and the basement to get more clues to advance the second agenda, which was we were trying to escape the house, but there was a force field blocking the front door. We had to get enough clues to work out how to bypass the force field before the demons come and kill us. We did that. That was all very good. Then, because we had broken the force field, we then discovered that there was a priestess of this, sort of dark cult, which were trying to summon Cthulhu, who had put the force field up to trap the demons inside my house. She didn't care that I was in there already. She was just trying to trap the demons and stop them breaking out and destroying the rest of the city. So yeah, I can sort of understand her actions a little bit. And also then the sort of lead demon broke through from the nether regions and started coming after us. So the final agenda was we had to kill the lead demon and escape. I also sidetracked a bit and went and persuaded the priestess to come and join us, because that comes in handy for a future act. the final boss of this campaign, Cthulu, is unbeatable. The only way to beat him is to throw the priestess at him, and he eats the priestess and goes back to the nether regions. So, yeah, I've learned this from playing with Joe. You can't beat the final boss. You either run away and it destroys the world, or you throw the priestess at it. So we did really well, actually, considering we got the second best ending to the first act. I say second best in that we killed the demon, we got the priestess. However, we burnt my house down. It got to the end of the act, and the priestess was trying to decide whether to burn the house down, which is what she wanted to do, burn the house down and trap the demons inside, or leave it standing. And I let my sister choose which one to go for. You know, I had the campaign logbook, I could read what each one does. And she just goes, I would burn it down. This then meant that my character's deck had a mental weakness shuffled into it because of the trauma of watching everything I possess burn to the ground. Yeah. I also accumulated a second mental weakness during this, because whilst fighting the demon, I went insane. Because you have two types of health in this game. You have physical health and mental health, and the demon would hit for both. And my mental health depleted during the fight, so I went insane. This then meant I had to go into the second act with two mental weaknesses on top of my unique weakness, which you get anyway. Each character has a unique weakness which starts in their deck. Second act didn't go so well. We had to explore the city and find the group of 6 cultists and persuade them to stop what they were doing and join us instead. To unveil the cultists, we had to go and get clues from the city. And once we got 4 clues, we could trade them in together to reveal a cultist, and then go and find the cultist and do whatever action, because each required different actions, to get them to join us. Meanwhile, you know, bad guys and demons are popping up and trying to stop us, and all sorts of horrible hazards are coming up as well. And it really didn't go so well. In total, we had 14 rounds to find the 6 cultists and get them, and then end the act. Because if we ran out of time, we get a penalty going into the final act. So we had to try and do it in less than 14 rounds, or just quit. We got 3 of the cultists. 3 of them got away. And poor Sarah was trying to fight a night gaunt, which had picked her up and started carrying around the city. And in the fight, she got injured. So she now has a physical weakness added into her deck. So it's really not looking well in that between us we've accumulated 3 extra weaknesses going into the final round. However, throughout the 2 acts we have managed to gain 9 experience each to improve our decks. I mean, we can't take out the weaknesses, but we can upgrade and add better items into our decks. So, there are positives, there are negatives. Anyway, so that's basically how the campaign with my sister has been going, and it's been a lot of fun. I should also just actually explain some of the characters. It's I've been playing as Skids O'Toole, who is an ex-convict. He was sent to prison for sort of burglary and sort of stuff like burglary and petty theft and stuff. Because it's not exactly said what the disease is, but his mother was in hospital, and he couldn't afford the hospital bill. So he turned to crime to pay for her treatment. Got caught and got sent to prison for it. She died while he was in prison. However, he still has to pay for the hospital bills somehow. So that means his unique weakness is hospital debts. When it comes into play, you have to move 6 of your resources onto it throughout the act. if you haven't done this by the end of the act, you don't get any experience in that act. So, which means you can't upgrade and improve your deck. So that's, yeah, it's not a good one to have in. I have also accumulated hypochondria, so every time I take physical damage, I take mental damage with it as well. And paranoia. So when I draw paranoia, I have to discard all my resources. Now, resources is a form of in-game currency, which you then use to play cards from your deck, or interact with what's going on in the game. And it was, so that's sort of my character. He also has his character also has unique abilities. So like Skid's O'Toole I can spend 2 resources each round so I can have an additional action. So I can take 4 actions a turn instead of 3. Also, when you take skill checks, which come in handy all the time, because every time you fight you have to do a skill check. If you try to run away, you do a skill check. You sometimes have to do willpower checks if like a hazard comes up. Also, when you go and find clues, you have to do an investigation skill check. So each character has 4 stats. You then have to do a skill check and pick a modifier from a random bag. However, there is a star modifier. Each character reads the star modifier differently, and Skids reads it as +2 to the skill check. If I succeed, I gain 2 resources. So that's quite handy. And Skids is mainly a sort of running away type character. His highest stat is his agility. His worst stat is willpower. So he's a sort of runaway coward, in a way. He has sort of average investigation, average attack stats. So he belongs to the rogue faction, because each character belongs to one of 5 factions, and the rogues are actually pretty good at dealing damage in the non-conventional manner and running away. So I've sort of turned into the combat bunny for this campaign, which if I just reveal what I've got in my deck, I've got like a guard dog, which will soak up damage for me and deal damage to enemies. I have a pistol. I've got a couple of pistols, and a knife. I sneak attack, so I can do damage to exhausted enemies. Backstab. So instead of using my attack stat, I can use my agility stat to deal damage. Now I've got a machete. I have a police officer who boosts my power, and I can use him to do extra damage. And so I've just basically got like a few guns, a few daggers, and a couple of allies to help me in damage dealing. So that's my character. My sister has gone for Agnes, who is a waitress with amnesia. She can't remember how she got to Arkham, or anything like that. But all she knows is she has this heirloom she inherited from her grandmother. And it's a strange heirloom in that the patterns on it change every day. So, and her unique weakness is dark memory, in that her memories will break forth. And when that happens, it decreases the amount of time we have to complete the current agenda. If she doesn't play it, she takes mental damage. However, Agnes belongs to the Mystic faction, which are pretty good at soaking up mental damage, and also have access to like spells and tomes to deal damage and do all sorts of other effects to aid the party or hinder the enemies. So they're pretty good all-rounders if you can make sure they don't take too much mental damage. Oh no, Agnes has Agnes's ability is when she takes mental damage, she deals physical damage to every enemy in her current location. And her star modifier is add +1 to your stat for every piece of mental damage Agnes has taken. So usually you don't want to be taking mental damage, but in Agnes's case you sort of do. If you've got a way of healing it, which I do, I've got a couple of first aid kits in my deck. So if you've got a way of healing it, she actually is a pretty good character for anything, any skill checks, and also sort of an engaged combat. Which was actually how we finished off the demon in the first act. I did most of the damage to it, and then because I was engaged with it, it attacked me. Oh, hell. Sorry. That's better. So yeah, it attacked me, drove me insane. But then she had a tome which allowed her to take mental damage and gain resources for doing it. So she did that. And of course, because she took mental damage, she dealt physical damage to the demon and killed it. So it was a nice bit of teamwork going on there. But anyway, I've sort of been rambling quite a bit about this game. I am really excited about this game. I'm super addicted to it. And it is a lot of fun. I mean, but anyway. I really do recommend getting it. They did have it in the Black Friday sale on Amazon, so I managed to pick it up for like £15 cheaper than what it was going for, the base set. But if you do find it on sale, definitely pick up a copy, especially if this is your sort of thing, sort of role-playing storytelling games. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble about this. I shall now reveal the results of the sort of competition thing I did for Pokemon, letting you know which Pokemon I'm starting with and what it's going to be called, and then I shall see you again next week. So, see you in a minute.
And so the winner is going to be, as there was one vote for it and one vote for anything except Poplio, the winner is going to be Litten. And the nickname that was chosen for Litten is going to be Lapsang. Because anybody who knows me may have noticed I actually like tea, and Lapsang is one of my favourite types of tea. It's a smoked tea, which suits quite well for this fire type Pokemon. So I shall see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.